Hi everyone, welcome to the video. Today we're going to look at my cryptocurrency exit strategy. When is a good time to take the money and run, and how much to take at certain price points. And before I continue, if you've enjoyed any of my previous content or you like this video, click subscribe, follow the channel, and give the video a like as well. Now, a few things to consider before looking at this information. Firstly, you should adjust the figures accordingly, whatever amount works best for your financial circumstances. These figures neither account for staking rewards nor inflation. And this ties into my next point. The reason why I haven't mentioned the inflation rate is because we have no idea when these price points will be hit, or even if they will be hit in the first place. That is why I've left out the inflation info. Another thing as well, this information may differ from what I've mentioned in previous videos. So for example, I made a video earlier this year about my top cryptos for 2020. So my portfolio allocation, or a rough idea. One last point to mention, none of this is financial advice and I am not a financial advisor. There's a lot to cover, so let's continue. The first crypto we have, and Bitcoin will be featuring later in the video, so you got to stay tuned if you want to find out. Ethereum, or Ether, to begin, a brief explanation of how this will work. I've picked numbers that are fairly easy to deal with, so I try to avoid anything too complex because there is a lot of information to digest. Assuming that we put $1,000 into Ethereum, you buy approximately 4 Ether at $250 per token. At this point, some of you may consider these to be conservative. However, do bear in mind that I tend to diversify, so I'm willing to spread out the risk and the rewards. The first price point here, 20% withdrawn at $1,000 per Ether. 4,000 minus 20%, which represents $800, leaving us with 3.2 ETH. 25% taken at $2,000 per token. So this remaining amount will then double in value, making $6,400 for what you've got there. And then we take 25% of that. You've taken $1,600, and then that leaves $4,800 or 2.4 Ether. At the next point, I would take more at $3,000. So that would be, so with 30% taken at that price point, so that's $7,200 in value minus 30%, $2,160. That leaves us with just over $5,000 at 1.68 Ether. Despite this, you've still taken $4,500. If this scenario were to occur in real life, it's still a reasonable return on investment. You've still got Ether left over to then appreciate in value, or whatever could happen. It could always drop once again. So it's important to remember that cryptocurrencies represent one of the most risky asset classes, if not the riskiest one that exists today. Having this strategy, or having a strategy, is important because all of your gains could dwindle in a very short period of time, and that is what occurred back in December 2017 or January 2018, depending on what you were in. Okay, $500 into ADA, which ties in with the project Cardano. As a quick side note, this is in no particular order. $500 into the crypto. So at the moment it is about 7 cents, but for simplicity, I said 10 cents per ADA. And you get 5,000 units for the $500 that you put in at that price. Its previous all-time high was at about $1.20, $2, especially with the technological advancements and then the announcement for the Shelley mainnet. This would make a price target like $2 more plausible compared to 2.5 to 3 years ago. At 15%, this initial investment would turn into $10,000. So that would be 20x from that original unit price. So you've taken $1,500. That would be $8,500 remaining, or $4,250 ADA. My next price point would be 15% once again, and I would take that at $5 per ADA. This remaining amount will then appreciate by 2.5 times, and you get $21,250. You then deduct 15%, so you'd take $3,187.50, and that would leave $18,062.50. I know, yes, we're dealing with cents, but for accuracy, I've stuck with this figure. So that would be 3,602.5 ADA. I believe it would be more sensible to increase the percentage you're taking as we go to a more ambitious price target. This is 100x from this starting point here. And as usual, and as I'll say later in the video as well, there'll be competition to factor in, would put more pressure on trying to get to this target. Just some food for thought. We'll double this figure and we get to 36,100 $125 in value. You then take 30%, which would represent $10,837.50, which would result in $25,287.50, or about 2,528 ADA, thereabouts. The good thing is, despite having taken all of this money, all the figures listed in green, there is still more than half of the original amount of ADA that you've got in the portfolio. Okay, next up, XRP. I've decided 500, well, at least for the purposes of this video. 2,000 tokens at 25 cents each, 10% taken at $2. The previous all-time high was at about $3.60, or give or take a few cents, depending on where you look. So we've got 8x, so you multiply that by 8, which gets you 4,000. You then remove $400 with a crypto that I believe still has a lot of potential. $3,600 remaining, so it's 1,800 XRP. 15% at $5 per XRP. Once again, 2.5 times this figure will get you $9,000. You then remove $1,350, and that will leave you with 7,650, or just above 1,500 XRP. My last point here, and I should mention, I don't plan to hold this much forever. At some point, I'm going to cash out and retain a little bit, but just for brevity, we'll just pick these three. So I would remove 30% if the price of XRP were to hit $15 per unit. At this price point would be $22,950. We then subtract $6,885, and you've got $16,065 left over at just above 1,000 XRP. I know there are huge XRP fans out there, and you're thinking, this is crazy. Why wouldn't I hold it for longer? Well, we don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of uncertainty. Unlike Bitcoin, which is at about half of its all-time high, XRP is down a lot lower than that. Now, I know that's not pleasant, but we have no idea when these prices will be achieved and what competition will do. Okay, $400 into Link. Let's have a look. That's 80 tokens. I would take 10% worth. If it were to 10x, that becomes 4,000. Take 10%, so it's 400. So you'd break even, depending on how long it takes to get to this price point and the inflation at the time. $3,600, so still have 72 Link to work with. So you got 20% at $200. Now, yes, this is a big price jump, 40x from where we are now, or according to what's in this video. This would then become $14,400. Take 20%, so it's about $2,880, and about $11,500 left over. So at this point, you'd be making what's about an 8 times return on investment. So that's pretty good. 35% if we got to $400. Now, again, very ambitious, but never say never. I see a lot of promise behind Chainlink. It has been one of the best performing cryptos over the past 9 to 12 months, just like Tezos as well, or Tezos, another strong performing crypto relative to the rest of the pack. 35% at $400 per Link, that would involve you taking $8,064. You'd still have 37.4 for Link to invest. $300 into Tez. Now, I originally had $400, but for simplicity, because it's nearly $3 per XTZ, I opted for the $3 price point. So that would be 100 Tez at 15%, $60 per Tez, 20x, so that is 6,000. You deduct, we take away $900, still leaves us with $5,100 there to invest, still 3x'd the principal. Okay, 20% taken at about $180. So this would be $15,300, would take just above $3,000, and it'll leave you $12,240. And then the last price point here, $35, $360. We have a long way to go, and I highly doubt we'll get to this price in just the next bull run. Unless if the team, the Tezos Foundation and others working on the project can unleash some groundbreaking technology that's light years ahead of everyone else. I don't see this being reached for a long time if we ever get there, but I would be willing to leave a small amount of Tez and see what could happen. You never know. Okay, 35%, so that would involve taking $8,568, and this would leave you with 44.2 XTZ, or Tez XTZ. VeChain, now this is a bit of a fan favorite. I would say they're one of the dark horses. Some people have mixed opinions about the crypto, but it's enticing to throw a bit of money into it, especially because of its low market cap. Anyhow, so $200 would be 20,000 VeChain tokens at 1 cent each. And just for your reference, it is currently at 0.6 of a cent, but it has a market cap of just a touch above 400 million US dollars. So I would not rule out 40x, especially if we see trillions of dollars pouring into the crypto space. But again, once again, not financial advice. These are all hypothetical scenarios. The original investment multiplying by 40x would be $8,000. You take 15%, that's $1,200 in the kitty that you've taken the money and you've decided to run. 17,000 VET will be, or VET will be left over. 15% once again at 80 cents per VET. Now these are very ambitious price points. This is more than 100x from where we are. But I'm willing to let this one run. Relative to the rest of my portfolio, it forms a tiny amount. In general, as I've said before, with the cryptocurrency space, you should only put money in that you are willing to lose. So if this forms a tiny part of an amount of money that you can readily afford to lose, and if it goes to zero, your life goes on. I think one or two you can just let it go and see what happens. Despite this, you still want to take some profit and make sure you've at least got your original amount back as some consolation. So 15% at 80 cents per, that would be just above $2,000 or $2,040 that you're taking, and that would leave $11,560 or 14,450 VET. The last point, 30, well, that's $1.20. Now, based on what I mentioned a minute or two ago, it's now 0.6 of a cent, so this would involve 200x. If you were to take 35%, or just to backtrack slightly, so this multiplied by 1.5, which represents that price jump, $17,340. And you deduct $6,069 and you get $11,271. That takes your total to just below 9,400 VeChain tokens. If you've had enough of the token, you can always take all the money and then redirect some of that into something else, whether it's another crypto or anything else you want to invest in your life. $1,000 into Bitcoin. Okay, this is the time for the foundation crypto and my strategy to take money. Put $1,000 in at about 10K per Bitcoin. So at the moment, we're not too far from that. That is 0.1 of a Bitcoin. Now, something you need to remember as well. Now, despite this being a tiny amount, you're like, oh, 0.1 of something. Compared to holding 20,000 VeChain tokens, there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. Another thing to add to the scarcity, 3.5 to 4 million Bitcoins have been lost forever. So they've been lost in some way, shape or form. That takes it down to about 17.5 to 18 million Bitcoin across the globe. We have a growing population on top of that. The supply of new Bitcoin entering circulation being halved every 4 years. But I would be willing to take 15% at $40,000. That would represent $600. Okay, this still leaves you with 0.085 Bitcoin, or another way to denominate Bitcoin is in Satoshis, 8.5 million Satoshis. 20% at 100,000. Man, you're like, well, this guy's ambitious. This guy's dreaming. You look at the predictions made by some cryptocurrency commentators or so-called experts, in inverted commas, and they have their own ideas. Owing to the scarcity of the assets, I wouldn't rule this out. This figure by 2.5 times is 8,500. You then deduct $1,700. So that would leave you with 6.8 million Satoshis, or 0.068 Bitcoin, or in US dollars. Who knows what the inflation rate will be, but I'm going to say $6,800. I don't see Bitcoin disappearing anytime soon, if ever. And the final price point here is 35% at 200,000 per Bitcoin. That is a massive jump, but I would not rule this out. So we're doubling this amount and taking 35% of what you've got left over. That would be $4,760, which would leave you with $8,840, or roughly 0.044 Bitcoin left over to invest. Owing to its scarcity, that's still a considerable amount. And again, all hypothetical, not financial advice. If you add all these figures up, so that would be $5,500 to $6,000 profit depending on inflation at the time. And let's move on. We've got $200 into Litecoin. I'm not as bullish about it as I once was, but it's a crypto I'd still hold. Funnily enough, it's actually the very first crypto I bought. By default, I'd be tempted to keep a small amount. For Litecoin at $50 per coin, 15% taken at 200, so this would 4x to hit $800 in value, and then 15% would be $120, which would leave you with 3.4 Litecoin. 20% at $300, 680, 1.5, so it's $1,020. Take just over $200, and that leaves you with $800 left. You've still got 2.68 Litecoin available. 45% as we get to $750. I think at its all-time high, Litecoin was at about $370 thereabouts. So double the number it hit back in the last bull run, or the major bull run. The remaining amount would be $2,015. Take 45%, so that's $906.75. That will leave you with $1,108 and a quarter. Just below 1.5 Litecoin available there. $300 into Amise Go. Now, I've regained interest in this. I feel as though it was dormant for a while, and since the recent Coinbase listing, this Coinbase effect is still alive and well, and that the crypto rallied considerably over about a 1.5 to 2 week period. So I would recommend checking out my last video, which was about Amise Go, and my price analysis, or two of them, about the crypto as well. $300 into OMG, so it's 150 tokens at about $2 per unit. 20% taken at $30. This is not far off from the previous all-time high. It's 15 times higher than the token price listed here. This would then become $4,500, and then 20% of that is $900, which would leave you with $3,600, or 120 OMG. 25% at $75 per token. Remaining balance now becomes $9,000, and 25% of that, $2,250, and that would leave you with $6,750, 90 OMG remaining. These two combined would still be more than 10 times the original investment amount. So you've made a reasonable profit. At this point, now the reason why I've done this, it's because the reason why I've made a huge jump with the percentage that I would take is also because part of me is thinking about the competition, what Amise Go is trying to do, so creating this open platform for financial services and facilitating these peer-to-peer transactions. Will there be another crypto that could outcompete Amise Go? Now, they are based in Southeast Asia. You've got a huge market to tap into, in addition to the remainder of Asia and the whole world, of course. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Could this price target be achieved? I feel as though the low circulating supply, the upcoming staking rewards, well, it's planned, it's in the pipeline. Further details yet to be confirmed, but this will make it even more enticing if people can successfully stake their OMG tokens. But let's see what happens. We've got the last two, $240 into Monero. I think it's important to include privacy coins, or at least one. You can take your pick. You can substitute this with Dash or Zcash or Zcash. There are two other major privacy coins that exist. But I think to diversify your portfolio and to show some support behind privacy coins, we should be putting in a reasonable amount of money into at least one of them. So I've picked $240 because it's not far off from $80 per coin, 3 XMR for that amount of money. 15% if it were to 7x in value. So the $1,680 figure, 15% once again at $840 per XMR would become $2,142, and then 15% of that would be $321.30. That leaves approximately $8,120, 2.1675 XMR, and $30. These two in particular, this is uncharted territory, but especially with what's happening around the world and people wanting to protect some of their freedoms to a certain point at least. I think privacy coins will remain relevant. I know governments don't like them. As a matter of principle, I think they have a role to play. I don't see them disappearing. There'll still be some demand for them. I've made a separate video about Monero, another one involving Zcash or Zcash and Dash together. 2 separate videos with more information about these privacy coins. And the last one on the list, and do bear in mind that if your favorite crypto hasn't featured here, I still hold many other cryptos, or at least tiny amounts, in the top 50 to 100. $250 into IOTA, or 1,000 MIOTA at 25 cents per MIOTA. So that'll be 15% at $3 per MIOTA. Now its previous all-time high, its all-time high was at $5.25. This is plausible, especially in a bull run. Not financial advice, but I wouldn't rule that out. And even if you took 15%, you're nearly doubling that principal. This taking away 15%, there'll be $2,550 or 850 MIOTA, remaining 25%. The second price points are double the first one, and 25% will be $1,275. It'll still leave 637.5 MIOTA, and you've taken, what's that, $1,725. 35% at $15 per MIOTA. If the whole Internet of Things concept really takes off and IOTA remains relevant and manages to form more partnerships and people use the crypto as much as possible, I believe $15 would be somewhat easy to achieve if those things are fulfilled. But time will tell, and there could always be a competitor that comes along. And I've made a separate video dedicated to IOTA. Feel free to check that out as well. And that is a wrap. As I mentioned, there'll be a market update as well. What are your thoughts about my price points? I imagine there'll be a variety of opinions and people criticizing me or supporting me. I respect your opinions. I encourage you to leave your thoughts in the comments section to get the ball rolling with a bit of conversation. So get a good discourse happening. To wrap up the video, let's have a look at the crypto prices courtesy of Coin Paprika. Okay, so at the time of making this video, it is now 2:53 p.m. UTC on Sunday, the 31st of May, 2020, for anyone listening in future. Bitcoin is currently $9,540. Ethereum at $235 per Ether. XRP back in third spot. It is now 20 cents, and it's just ahead of Tether once again, although that could change in the coming days, probably will. Litecoin at $46.45 per LTC. Binance Coin at $17.46. EOS $2.71. Tezos $2.89 per XTZ. ADA has had a pretty good week, especially in regards to further details about a Shelley the Shelley mainnet launch, or the date, and it's up 46.48% for the past 7 days. So it's something to keep an eye out on. Chainlink is up as well, $4.15. Stellar at 7 cents. Monero at $67.41. Going down the list, Dash at above $78. Zcash or Zcash at $52.42. VeChain at 0.6 cents. It's had a pretty good week as well. Amize Go $1.47, so it's dropped a considerable amount since the major rise that we had last week. It got up to $2 with the Coinbase listing. We're going to leave it there. So thank you very much for tuning in. Once again, what are your thoughts about what I've covered in the video? I look forward to your feedback. If you like this video or any of my other content, as mentioned before, click subscribe, smash the bell icon, follow the channel. Just want to say thank you to everyone for your support. I really appreciate it. And there'll be more videos coming up soon. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. And stay safe. Thank you very much, and see you later. Adios.